We are very, very happy to be able to present this webinar today, Virtual Events with Zoom and the Soapbox Engage Events app. This is functionality that we have been building specifically for these strange times that we are living in. And with those strange times in mind, ordinarily these webinars that we have usually every Wednesday and Thursday that are talking about a specific part of the Soapbox Engage app system. Normally they run 45 minutes. This one is going to run a bit shorter than that at 25 minutes. I was thinking that perhaps that is a direct result of my time horizon being shifted during this pandemic, and my 4-year-old's class that is meeting virtually only capped at 25 minutes. So that may be why the time horizon has shifted for me. If I slip into asking you all to go and grab 3 different toys that start with the letter C, or ask you to sing a song with me, that is also a direct result of the pandemic world that we're living in and the fact that I join my 4-year-old for his class every day. So if that happens, apologies. I will try and stick to the content at hand, however, which again is talking about this new integration that we have with the Soapbox Engage Events app and Zoom. Just for context, my name is Tim Forbes. I'm the VP of Products and Marketing here at PicNet. PicNet is the company behind the Soapbox Engage platform. So we are essentially one and the same, PicNet and Soapbox Engage. Soapbox Engage, just as a matter of context, is a platform that is designed for nonprofits to be able to raise more money and change the world. That sounds a bit lofty, maybe a bit dramatic, but that's what we're here for. That's why we exist as a company, and that's why the platform exists. The platform itself is a suite of services that nonprofits can choose to use a la carte or get the entire thing. And those specific apps that comprise the suite include our Donations app. Donations has simple donation forms and then extremely complex campaigns that you can roll out for peer-to-peer fundraising, as well as virtual activity fundraising if you need to take that walkathon and move it from an in-person event to a virtual event. So Donations is one of those apps. Our Events app is the second one in this list here. That is the one we're going to be focusing on today because we're going to be talking about how that app works with Zoom. The new functionality that we're going to be discussing, it's important to note, is not anything that any current user of our Events app needs to pay extra for. This is just entirely included in the Events app if you have it now. In addition to Donations and Events, we have our Classes app, which is really the Events app on steroids that allows you to manage an entire course catalog for your organization. We have our Forms app, which allows you to create forms easily through clicks, not code, that push data to Salesforce. We've got our Directories app, which does the exact opposite. Rather than pushing data to the Salesforce constituent relationship management tool, Directories pulls data from Salesforce and displays it on your website. We have our Shop application for online e-commerce. And then we have our twin online advocacy tools. The first is Petitions, which allows you to create an online petition and encourage folks to sign that petition to show their support, as well as our Actions app, which also allows you to publish a particular stance that you have and ask supporters to go ahead and sign on in support of that. Unlike Petitions, which just has their signature shown on the petition itself, Actions goes a step further and actually contacts the target or targets for your action. Those targets can be elected officials at national, state, or local levels, or any custom target you choose to create. those are the key apps within the Soapbox Engage suite. In addition to that, we have a feature that is our website portals feature that basically is a way in which you can supercharge all of the other apps by having a front-end user come to your Soapbox Engage instance, log in, and have a wealth of personalized data that is shared with them, and a number of other abilities that they have as a logged in user to do things like sign up for members only classes using members only tickets, or just a cornucopia of other options that the other apps offer to logged in users. We also have Soapbox Mailer, which is a Salesforce native app that allows you to do mass email directly in Salesforce. And if this all was not enough, you also have a full content management system that you could choose to use as part of the Soapbox experience. That being said, by way of overview, we're going to jump into, again, the events specific content here. So we'll go ahead and toss out the slide deck and walk through some specific examples of what we're talking about when we say that we have the events app that integrates with Zoom. So we all know right now that virtual meetings are absolutely key, fundamental to really every aspect of our lives, including meetings or gatherings that you would want to have as a nonprofit organization. And for the Events app, what we've wanted to do is make it easy for you to have the Events app registration form be the place that somebody can come, register to attend your events, and then automatically have them signed up with Zoom as a registrant so that they can attend your event through their personalized webinar or personalized meeting link. Now, the great thing about the specific elements of this integration, and what I'm going to walk through here in just a moment or two, is you've already experienced all of this because you signed up for today's webinar. And by doing so, you had your particular registration logged in to Zoom, our Zoom account for our meeting, and you used the personalized meeting link that was sent to you to attend this meeting. So this, all that I'm going to show you right here, this will feel shockingly familiar because you did all this already. But as we walk through, here we have our example event. Let's say we're going to have a giant virtual gala for Giving Tuesday this year. This is how we're going to anchor our end of year fundraising. So we have an event for the Soapbox Events app that is going to allow you all of the tricks of the trade that you can use for creating an event within Soapbox as you would any other event. You can have multiple ticket types, you can have promo codes, you can have, as we'll see here, the ability to add an optional donation, the ability to add custom questions if you wish for the event registrations, just a ton of different options. We're keeping it short and sweet, simple, straightforward by just saying, give us your contact information. So we'll go ahead and I will register for this Giving Tuesday virtual gala. I'm extremely excited about it. I'll register myself as a virtual hero. So in this example, we have two different ticket types. As far as the Zoom integration is concerned, there is no different type of registrant or attendee that is created. The same type of registrant will be created regardless of what option somebody chooses here, but it does give you the option of having different payment amounts, different ways to recognize folks who choose to attend, in this case, our Giving Tuesday virtual gala. So we'll go ahead and drop in my information here as an attendee. And I'm feeling generous. I'll say that we'll toss in another $100 as part of the optional donation. We'll put in our information. We'll click attend this event. Once we do that, will be shown our thank you message that is crafted by you as an administrator. And here's where we get to see some of the first little hints at the integration that's at play. So for this particular confirmation message, I went ahead and crafted it in the administrator, which we'll see in a few minutes, to have this text, to have the order details presented here to show me the one ticket that I purchased, as well as my additional donation. And then I also included the merge field that shows us all of the personalized attendee links that are created. Because when you create this Zoom registrant, that registrant will have their personalized meeting link that they'll use to join the meeting, just as you all did today. So that can be presented here within the confirmation message. That also can be shown in the confirmation email that is sent to the registrant. So in this particular case, what we have in our demo instance is this Soapbox Engage Events app is using what we call our standard event registration confirmation template. And that standard template allows for things to be presented in this nice, pretty format that includes your logo that you can customize at the top, the registration information bar, and then details about the event itself. If we scroll down, we can see a custom message that we included here saying how much we look forward to this person joining our gala. And then if it is an event that is integrated with Zoom, we have this virtual meeting details section, which shares the meeting ID of the Zoom meeting, as well as that same information that we saw on the confirmation page, that personalized webinar link and the name and email of the attendee. If we go further, we see that I also got another email as a registrant. This one came directly from Zoom. So this is an option that you have just by virtue of having these registrations created directly in Zoom, where each individual registrant can be set to receive an email with that same information for joining the meeting. So first email is sent from Soapbox to just the person who registered, which may be the same as the attendee, but not always. And then Zoom offers the option for sending personalized emails to the individual attendees. Now, for those using our events app, your event confirmation email may look different than this. You may be using what is now called our custom template for event registration confirmations. That is something that can be toggled either by changing the default for the entire events app to just use a custom template or to use the standard template. If you have the custom template, you're free to customize it as much as you want and also include a merge field that has the virtual meeting details that renders the information virtually identically to this here. So you've got the same ability to include that in your confirmation email, even if you have the standard email. If we go into Zoom itself, I'm logged in and I can see all of my upcoming events. If I click on our Giving Tuesday Virtual Gala, you'll see that we have one registrant. And if we click View, we'll see, hey, there's this guy, Tim Forbes. He registered. That's awesome. So all of that happened simply by me registering within Soapbox, and then having this created directly in Zoom. So when it comes time for the event itself, you can do exactly what you all did to hop on to the webinar today. Just click that join link. You can manipulate this as you wish. If you want to cancel this registration, that's cool. You can do that here in Zoom. If you want to resend the confirmation email, you can do that as well. Those are all up for grabs for you just by this being a Zoom registration. So a little glimpse at what is happening behind the scenes. So any of these events here we're going to open up. We'll actually just pick on the one that's, that we're using, that we registered for, the Giving Tuesday Virtual Gala. And just to give you a snapshot as to how the integration works and what you can see for the reservations once they come in. On the reservations tab, we've got the same information you'd have for any other events, which has our one registrant at this point. And if we click tickets in the pop-up, you'll see the standard information about who the attendee is, what the price of the ticket was, what ticket type it was. And then at the bottom, we have the Zoom meeting details. So Zoom meeting ID, registrant ID, and even the join URL here. So that you have access to that within Soapbox. You don't even need to open Zoom if you don't want to go there to get this information. In terms of setting up the integration so that an event connects with Zoom and creates that registration, you do that just by enabling it here on the integration tab. And once you set it to yes, or if you have the global configuration for the event app set to have Zoom on always, and that would be something that would be an option, but probably not desirable, since probably not all of your events are going to use Zoom. But if you've enabled that here, you can go ahead and select a meeting. When you click that, what you're presented with is a real-time view of all of the available meetings in your Zoom account that you can choose from. What shows up here are any meetings for which the account owner of your Zoom account is a host. By default, if it is an upcoming event, it will appear here. If you really, for whatever reason, want to be able to see all events, you can just shift this to all. And the event has to be set so that it is requiring registrations. If it's not requiring registrations, kind of the whole point of the integration is tossed out the window, because that's what we're all about. We're all about registering people to have individualized, personalized links. So those are the magic parameters that you need. You need to have events for which the account owner for your Zoom account is the host. You need to have upcoming events, unless you want to switch this to all, and you need to have registrations that are required. The other elemental thing that you need as part of just your Zoom account is you do need to have at least the lowest paid account, which is the Pro account. Otherwise, we don't have any visibility through Zoom's API to be able to see any of this information. But that all being said, once you get here, you can choose an existing meeting, as we've done here, just by selecting it. Or if you want, if the meeting doesn't exist in Zoom already, you can go ahead and click New. And some cool things about this is that not only do you have this magic wizardry of being able to create a meeting directly in Zoom just from Soapbox, you also have Soapbox smart enough to say, well, you know what? If you're creating a meeting in Zoom, you probably want the meeting name, the start date, the start time, and the time zone to all be the same as this event that we are on right now. So that is all automatically filled in. Of course, you can change that as you wish, but likely you're going to want that to be consistent with what you've got in Soapbox. So that's how you can select an existing meeting or create a new meeting from Soapbox in Zoom. In terms of some other ways that you can see the integration come through, if we go to the reservation view and we look at our order there, we click tickets, we can see that same view with the same information for meeting ID, registrant ID, join URL. If we had multiple registrations or multiple tickets for this registration, we'd see those listed in this pop-up too. Just as kind of a note for what's coming soon, we're actually going to be completely revamping the detail view here, so we have a full screen view that's much more user-friendly and data-rich. But for now, you can see those same Zoom details here as you could on the registration tab in the event itself. For setting up the integration between Zoom and Soapbox, what you'll need to do is add in some basic details for your Zoom account into the configuration of the Events app just on the integration tab. These are items that are created by going into the Zoom marketplace and creating what Zoom calls an app. It's just a couple keystroke process that we have outlined in our knowledge base so that you can go ahead and get these credentials here to populate. That is the core feature and functionality of the Zoom integration as it exists now. Just to highlight some things that are coming in the future. So right now, the integration between the Events app and Zoom only integrates with Zoom meetings. That is sort of the baseline functionality that Zoom offers. Zoom also has something that's an add-on called Zoom Webinars. Basically, one of the biggest differences between a meeting and a webinar in Zoom is that webinars can host many, 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 many more people than meetings. Integration with Zoom Webinars is something that we are actively working on and expect to roll out in the coming weeks. The same is true of tracking attendance in Zoom, from Zoom. So what we're going to be doing is having it so that Soapbox is able to record who showed up to your meeting and some details about how long they were on the meeting. That'll be something that's recorded both in Soapbox as well as in Salesforce if you have Salesforce integration enabled, which also allows me to note that the Zoom information that we saw here in terms of meeting ID, registrant ID, join URL, those data points are also saved to Salesforce for the attendee if you have that enabled. The last thing that's on our roadmap that we're going to be adding support for is within the Events app, there's the way that you can register, that's the standard way, which we showed here just by submitting our registration by clicking attend this event for this specific event. For those with our Classes app, we have support for shopping cart, which allows folks to register for multiple events simultaneously just through one checkout process. Support for Zoom and that feature, the shopping cart feature, is also something that we're going to be adding in the fairly near future. So that's just a snapshot at what's coming. We truly hope that the current integration is going to be something that you can leverage to good effect in connecting with your supporters in the new virtual reality that we're living in. If you have any questions at all about the functionality, feel free to go to support.picnet.net and submit a ticket. We'll be happy to respond. If you're interested in adding the Events app and using the Zoom integration, feel free to do the same, just a support ticket at support.picnet.net. We'll be happy to assist, and we hope that this enables you to fulfill your missions to the utmost these days, because we're in dire need of positive change in the world, and thank you all for working to craft and create that change. And thanks for hopping on the webinar. We appreciate you being here. Take care.